Important health news: if you spend a lot of time sitting in traffic, breathing diesel exhaust can cause brain damage.
It is a surprise discovery from researchers in Canada. Dr. Conor Hogan is the world's leading high-performance socio-psychologist. He joins us now live from Ireland. You know, Dr. Conor, first of all, thank you for being here. Second of all, I like this story because this sounds like something I would say to be dramatic, right? Because I love to be dramatic. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's like causing me brain damage. Now I have the research to back it up when I complain about sitting in traffic too long. How can it cause brain damage?
Well, first of all, it's the default mode network, this part of the brain, and not to be boring or to just stay long on that. Essentially what this part of the brain does is looks at giving us the ability to daydream, to recall memories, to even plan and think for the future. And so when you think of all of that, it's like ideas. So it's like damaging our ideas in many ways. So this, it's hot off the blocks, this research, in the last couple of weeks and months even, that it's just been put out there. It's from Canada, just over the border. And so yes, like the Western world has so much traffic, so much diesel, since, we'll say, the last 10 years or so, switching from petrol cars to diesel cars and the economic benefits of it. Essentially what they looked at was 25 people, doesn't sound many, but it's 19 years to 49 years. And they got people, some of them, to breathe in filtered air and some non-filtered air. So if you think about being in the car, having the window open, closed, that kind of thing, and they realized that it impairs your function. So it just muggies your thinking. It doesn't allow you for clear thinking at all.
And you know, that you bring up a good point. Many of us drive with the windows closed and have either the air conditioning or the heater on in the car, especially us here. It is very cold here right now, Dr. Conor, so we definitely have our heat on. Are we protected that way?
Yeah, it didn't look into the heat in so much as what was going on with regard to being in the car and, say, outside the car. So as we know, not everybody drives. So when you're actually, say, in a car, you think, hey, look, I've got the windows closed or open, it's by choice. But remember, we often turn on the heat, like you just said, the heat in the car, and that brings in air. That has to circulate air somehow. And if you multiply it over the time of, say, 1 hour, 2 hours, is a big difference. So it mightn't think, you might, smell that air, that diesel air coming through, but it replicates, duplicates over 2 hours. So it affects us in that way and gets into our brains in that way.
Yeah, so what about walkers and joggers and cyclists? I mean, they must come in contact with diesel exhaust as well.
They do, and I know it very, very well myself, because I'm that, I'm living a couple of miles from the city, as many people are, but I'm out on the coast, thankfully, as well, but the city is on the coast. But as you go through the traffic, you see and you feel and you smell it. So I tried to go out myself a couple of hours ago even, just during that peak time traffic, to see what it was like, and realized that it's quite difficult to actually kind of muzzle up as such, especially if you have glasses or anything like that, because they're going to steam up, right? And often we do have that in the summer as well. So it's going to affect people. Shorter spurts if you cycle, for you're quicker in traffic, obviously, but that's really, really toxin based for you. If you're in the car for 2 hours, there's also that danger as well, because it's more prolonged.
And aside from the brain damage, is there any effects on the lungs?
Yes, of course. We know that research. Look, that's not hugely new or anything like that, because we can get things like asthma and obviously contributing to cancers and things like that, respiratory problems, and of course heart conditions as well.
Well, viewers can learn more about Dr. Hogan's work by checking out his book, The Gym Upstairs, The Neuroscientific Secrets of Future Champions. Dr. Conor, as always, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.